Hi, Namaste. My name is Henry Jadikaya. In 2014, in front of the Samadhi of Annamalai Swami, I asked David Godman several questions about self-inquiry. The first one was, did Bhagavan recommended practitioner of self-inquiry to sit for a certain period every day for meditation?
No, on the contrary. Paul Brunton has a reported statement from Bhagavan in which he says, sitting meditation is for the merest spiritual novice. I think what Bhagavan meant by that, it's a bit like learning to swim in the swimming pool. You go there, you do your dog paddle, and then once you've attained a certain proficiency, then you go out of the learner's pool, you jump in the ocean of life, and you get on with it wherever you are. Bhagavan expected people who took up self-inquiry to incorporate it into their daily life. As I said a few minutes ago, he said it's all these gaps in your schedule that need to be attended to. As you're walking down the street, daydreaming, as you're going to work, just stop your mind from uncontrollably spreading out in all directions, focus it back on the eye and allow this eye to subside. He said that you're not going to succeed by having fixed moments or even short times of the day. What you need to do is to be aware all day, whatever you're doing. If the mind is wandering, and if it is, bring it back to this sense of I. If you just make it a fixed practice for half an hour, you can be quiet, you can be blissful, you can be happy for half an hour, but that doesn't equip you to be in the world and be quiet and peaceful. It's just a little indulgence that you have for half an hour, and if for your other 15 and a half hours of wakefulness, your mind's all over the place, you're not really going to make much headway on isolating this eye and making it go back to its source. The eye goes back to its source when it no longer feels the impulse to reach out and make contact with objects. The way you accomplish that is by starving it of the objects, by continually reining it in, by going back to this sense of I. If you simply have a fixed time of practice, and then most of your day you're daydreaming or your mind's all over the place, it's not going to work. So having said that, this is the Bhagavan party line, if you like, but in my experience, everyone who takes this practice seriously likes to have periods when they sit quietly, and most of them tell me that they feel they can do it better if they are sitting down with their eyes closed. Now, right now we're sitting in front of Annamalai Swami's Samadhi. Annamalai Swami was asked to do self-inquiry by Bhagavan in the 1930s. He had daily access to Bhagavan. He was told this same advice. Watch your mind in its spare time, be aware of the self, don't let it wander. He said, I had daily intimate contact with Bhagavan. I worked with him shoulder to shoulder. I sat in his hall every evening, and he said I couldn't control my mind. I had the massive good fortune to spend most of my waking life doing Bhagavan's work, seeing him, talking to him, but he kept me very, very busy. I had workers to deal with. It was always a headache. Suppliers weren't supplying, workers weren't working. I was always shouting at people, organizing people. He said, it's all very well in theory, but for 10 years, Bhagavan made me work really hard, and I couldn't keep my mind quiet. In fact, there's a nice story that he tells that everybody in the old hall was sitting very, very quietly, and Annamalai Swami walks in. He didn't say a word, and Bhagavan immediately started talking about building projects. And somebody said, why did you immediately start talking? He wasn't even asking a question. And Bhagavan said, when he walks into the hall, his head is overflowing with thoughts, questions and problems about buildings, that I just act as a mirror to all those thoughts coming in, and I have to talk building problems back to him. So Anandale Swami, he said I couldn't keep a quiet mind, even though that was Bhagavan's instructions. After 9 or 10 years, with Bhagavan's permission, I came to Palakottu and devoted myself full-time to self-inquiry, to finding out who I am. And he said that was all I needed. As soon as I had the time and the space to do this full-time meditation, it clicked. I got very quiet. So what we have on the one hand is Bhagavan saying, don't make it a formal practice. If you like at the beginning, start out like that, but try to incorporate it into all aspects of your daily life. And on the other hand, my experience, and Anandale Swami's experience, just about everyone's experience is that it's incredibly hard to do inquiry with a busy mind. And most people, even after years and years, find they can do it better sitting down.